All right, I'm back. Fielded a couple more questions about writing the equation given certain parts. All right, so let's see what we got here. So, draw a little sketch. Max, 0, 10. Midline, is that line that goes off? Is that pi over 4? So we're going to make our, here, every, it doesn't really even matter, pi over 4. And then 4. That's your midline goes through that. So my midline, I know, is plus 4. So I automatically know that's going at the end. So from this max to this midline is how many units? That tells you your amplitude. So that is a 6. Okay, so we have our amplitude, we have our midline. So now here's the first thing you should do. Does it start on the midline? If your answer is yes, it's a sine curve. If its answer is no, it's a cosine curve. So I automatically know that this is going to be a cosine because it does not start on your midline. Right? For it to be a sine, it must start on the midline. So, all right. So the next part we're going to go. So we found our amplitude. We found our midline. This is 1/4 from your max to the midline, or your midline to the min, or your min to your midline is 1/4 of a cycle, right? So that means you're going to need 4 of them to complete the whole cycle or your period. So if I look, I see that that's 1/4. So I go 1/4 times 4, because that's complete. So that tells me the whole thing is pi. That is your period. How long it takes to complete one cycle. Pi. Then my frequency is 2 pi divided by the frequency. So I'm just going to do some math, right? 2 pi divided by the frequency, or you go 2 pi divided by what the period is. So I find out my frequency is 2. All right, so I do believe I have all my information. So I know this curve is going to look like this. Maybe not drawing the scale, but so I know it's a cosine curve. So amplitude, 6. What is my frequency? 2. X plus 4. Bang. All right, so there's the first one. I got 3 total. All right. Next one. Min at 0.5. Max at 2 pi. 0.5. Max. Min. Right? I know it's automatically 2 away. 2 pi negative 5. So I automatically know that that is my baseline. I'll tell you why. Highest is 5, lowest is negative 5. That whole distance is 10. Half of 10 is 5, which puts me back at 0. Okay, so go back to that 10. Half of 10 is 5, so I know my amplitude is 5. My baseline, again, is 0. Does this graph start on the baseline? No. I automatically know it's cosine. I can put 5 here. I'll cheat. So 5 cosine. Okay, so I know my graph is going to look like this. How much of the graph do I see? I see half of it in 360. Remember, your frequency is how much of the graph you see in 360. So I know my frequency is a half. I can go 2 pi divided by 1/2 times by 2 times by 2. I know my period is 4 pi. So then I'm at frequency 1/2 x. Did I move it up or down? Plus 0. You don't have to do that, but so 5 cosine 1/2 x, or 5 cosine x over 2. Both are the same exact thing. All right, let's do one more. Midline is at 0, -7. Minimum is at pi over 4, -9. So 0, -7. I know I'm down here somewhere. Midline. Your minimum value, and it touches, right, that, and your minimum value is pi over 4, -9. All right, so right from that, how far down, so that my amplitude is 2. It's actually -2, but your amplitude is always positive. So, but negative means I know the graph is going down first, so I know it's going to be a negative graph, because it's going to be a negative sign. -2 sine. All right, so from here to here is 1/4 of a cycle. That was 1. So I'm going to go 1/4 times, hold on, I just lost track of what I was thinking. We're seeing 1/4. We're going 1 unit, so 2 units, 3 units. We're going to need 4 total units. So that is my period. Right? You take the distance from a midline to a max or a min, whatever that is, times it by 4. That tells you what your period is. So where was that? 4. All right, where are we? So oh. Sorry, I just got sidetracked a second. So I know that this is negative. Technical difficulties due to the wind. All right, so I'm going to take my 2 pi, divide by 4. So my frequency is pi over 4.